Are we live? Maybe. Yeah, I think so. All right. What's up, guys? We're back. You just saw me one place and now we're here. What's up, everyone? Welcome to TradeZella TV. All right. So we're just going to jump right into it because we're on a time constraint today. I think you'll have your normal, if you guys are a normal viewer of TradeZella TV, I think you're going to have your normal crew after the 9 o'clock time frame. So we're just going to go over today the NASDAQ and S&P levels that I have for you guys. We'll get a look for our sort of thesis and game plan today. And hopefully that will help you guys find a nice opportunity. If we have some time after we go over NQES and a few other ancillary names, we will look at some equities again today. So 8:30 to 9 o'clock, let's go ahead and get started. Let's not waste any time. So, of course, press the like button for TradeZella TV as well. I know I make people press the like button on my stream, but let's go ahead and press the like button here as well. So, today, NASDAQ futures, right? Nice downside yesterday, sort of clean in the early session, and then held that key 24.5 level midday, popped back into the December low, and then overnight sort of had that aggressive downside move. Now, something that's very important to pay attention to today on the NASDAQ futures is that overnight move that dropped pretty aggressively, right? That had a lot of people probably looking at their phones at 8:30, going to bed. They're like, oh my goodness, tomorrow's going to be an absolute bloodbath, right? Well, that level or that move traded right back into the daily 200 SMA, a massive spot for the NASDAQ futures. The 200 SMA, not a level that you see get tested very often, right? A NASDAQ 200 SMA that the last time it was tested was back in May of 2025. So look at what you just moved lower into in the overnight session and have seen a very aggressive bounce off that level, right? Nice spot that the NASDAQ futures is finding a move off of. So definitely a spot that I would be watching. Now, the other thing that I want to point out to you guys is where, in terms of levels, it's blurry. The stream is blurry. Okay. Hopefully, maybe it's something you guys can do on your YouTube side. Maybe turn it up to HD. That's something I would recommend trying. But hopefully, yeah, press the HD setting. That's what the team from TradeZella is saying. You got to make sure you go to HD on your YouTube settings. Go to settings and then change it to 720p. 720 is the highest. Yeah, that's maybe next time. Make sure there's 1080. Well, hopefully 720 is good enough. Not blurry. All right. So it seems like some people are just lost, but all right. Hopefully 720p is good enough for you guys today. If not, then I apologize, but turn it to 720. It should be more than enough to see the levels. Yep. All right. So I'm just going to continue. Hopefully 720 is good enough for you guys. But NASDAQ futures, you guys can see, look at these levels down below, right? These are big spots down below, right? October lows, August highs, November lows, July highs. These are multi-month levels, right? This is an October low and August high. These are huge spots that the NASDAQ are trading back into, right? On top of that, daily 200 SMA. So in terms of, hey, is this a long opportunity? That's not something that I can say, but I would say I would definitely not want to be short into this spot, right? That's pretty clear. I'm definitely not looking to be aggressively short down into that area. Now, what I would be watching today in terms of reclaims, right, is these previous highs from yesterday. You can see that this low from Thursday, let me go ahead and break this down a little bit deeper. What you guys can see is we had this very aggressive hold yesterday on the NASDAQ futures, which we are holding back above today. So if the NASDAQ futures moves lower, right, off this 24,900, if we reject this spot right here and move lower into the 24.5, I would be very cautious of that holding once again, right? Now, if you reclaim this yesterday rejection point right here at 24,900, this is also the December low at 24,887. If you were to reclaim that level today And this overnight low here from between Wednesday and Thursday, that could create an upside move, in my opinion, up towards the 25,200, right? Now, the next thing I want to point out to you guys today is you are going to open up on a pretty aggressive gap up, right? And so with a weak market, I would be careful of a gap up. So if we do see a rejection at this 24,887, a gap fill back to yesterday's close, which is roughly right back into that 24,500, I think is a very possible thing to happen. So maybe today you want to see a gap get filled first, which is a downside move towards 24.5, and then see if you create that little inverse head and shoulder formation off that 24,500 spot, right? So very careful of that today. Gap up is not a great spot. You don't want to be chasing a gap up in a technically, for now, weaker move over the last few days. So I would be careful of this level rejecting today. This is yesterday's highs, right? You can see what happened here yesterday. Look at the failures at this spot yesterday. So if we do see failures here, gap fill is very possible down into that 24,500 spot, okay? I would really not want to be long today unless I get a gap fill first or a reclaim above these rejection points from yesterday. That would be what I'd be watching on the NASDAQ futures today. Now, the biggest spot moving forward is absolutely going to be up here at the 25,200. You can see these major lows here, these major lows from Tuesday, the rejections that turned into here on Wednesday, and this would absolutely be a massive spot if we do find ourselves up into that 25,200, okay? So just know that today you are opening up into yesterday's rejections on a gap up, right? Typically, that is a situation that would be a really tough long to start the day, right? That would be a little bit of a chase long in my book up into the yesterday highs on a gap up move. But I would always remember and just continue to remember moving forward here that the NASDAQ has bounced off the 200 SMA. It might need to retest it, right? Maybe we need to come back down during real trading hours. This was all in the overnight session. So maybe we need to see intraday trading hours test the 200 SMA, right? That could be a very necessary move to see. All right. Let's go to the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is also, this sort of plays into our thesis of not wanting to be, oof, what was that? This plays into the thesis of not wanting to be long right off the open or near the open. Why? Because the S&P 500 has traded higher on a gap up into both the Wednesday low, the yesterday failure point, and the daily 100 SMA. All right, so this is definitely a spot to be very careful of today. You can see yesterday we had a drop off this level. We had a strong recovery that made it probably to some think that we were going to really find strength and move higher. And that move yesterday got absolutely smacked right off this 68.68 and right off this daily 100 SMA. And you can see that is exactly where we're sitting this morning. So this is definitely a spot I would be very careful of this morning. If you're looking at this 5-minute chart, you can see major lows, and rejections yesterday, and look at that spot again today. So that is a big spot for the S&P today. If you do reclaim the 100 SMA, if you do see a little pop above it, a nice hold above it, and a continuation move, that could be a nice reclaim long. I would say that is possibly a target up into 69.20, which is this Thursday early morning high, right up here. So that is something you could be watching as well. If the market is just sort of strong right off the gates, does that strength now reclaim and hold the daily 100? That would be a big question that I would have today. Something that I, just to tell you what I think is the cleanest and most cautious trade to look for today, I would allow the gap to fill, right? I would let this daily 100 fight its fight, see if the rejection comes in here. If it does, let's get a pullback back to the January low. Let's get a pullback to the gap fill. And then let's see if it sort of curls back off that level. But hey, if this thing just pops today and we're just strong out of the gates, then a hold above the daily 100 will definitely be something worth watching. Okay? All right, let's go to the SPY ETF. So the SPY ETF, I know some of you guys like watching the SPY, and so I want to go ahead and show you what happened on the SPY here. So I know this chart's a little bit messy. Let me go ahead and clean this up. I'm just going to show you this level by itself I want to show you this level right here, okay? This is the one level that I would be very focused on moving forward. That is 674. I'm going to make that big right there, 674. This is a massive spot for the SPY. Look at this major previous high here, right? Look at this major previous high here. See this? Look at the previous rejection here. Look at the failures right here. Look at the hold right here. And look at where we wicked and held above yesterday. 674. That is the line in the sand, okay? That is simply put, the line in the sand for the SPY is 674 on this market right now. That is a really important spot that I would absolutely have on your charts. Now, on top of that 674 spot, that is also the December lows that we tapped yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and I'll keep that for now. The December lows was 671.20 and 674. This is the zone that I would be very careful of shorting into on the SPY, right in this area here between that 674 level we created and that December low, which is 671.20. That is a big spot for the SPY today. Now, I want to show you once again why we need to be careful of just being long off this idea. Sure, this is a good bounce. Sure, that's a nice level to see a hold of, but there is a big spot that we are trading back into here. And we definitely need to see what we talked about on my live stream before this one. In a market that is moving lower, the most dangerous trade is to look for just sort of a one-legged bounce and think that it's just going to go in V-shape recover. You need to see reclaims of previous lows. You need to see holds back above previous rejection points. So here on the SPY, we can see that we had lows here from this overnight session here. We had a low here from Tuesday of this week. We had a low here from Wednesday of this week. And that area between this Tuesday low and this Wednesday low was where the market rejected yesterday, right? See this? This previous Wednesday low and this Tuesday low is exactly where the S&P 500 failed to move above yesterday and created a downside move. So look at where the SPY is trading into again today. It's right back into the Wednesday and Tuesday lows. So I would be very careful here today that we could see sort of a failure of this supply, and maybe we need to move back lower and fill this gap, right? Back down to the daily 100 and back down to that 676 spot. So if we go to the daily chart, and I hate that TOS has this now. If you guys on TOS, just a little tip. I know some of you guys do use TOS, and you're probably getting this ridiculous candle here. You can adjust this candle. If you go and right-click, you can press correct bar, and you can create a new value here. So that is very annoying. I really wish that TOS would fix that. So the low, I'm going to have to just scale the chart and ignore that for now because I don't know the exact value that I'd want it to be created. But yeah, that is something I'm going to have to do on my charts. That is very annoying that is happening. That's just a glitch candle. That's something that needs to be fixed from TOS. So if we go to this daily chart, we can see where previous day close was, right? Previous day close is this low right here. So previous day close is 677.62. 677.62 is yesterday's closing price. So if we go into the 15-minute chart, that is technically where your gap fill would be complete. And so I don't mind putting that on your chart and saying gap fill, right? That would be where your gap fill is on the chart. And so gap fill is right here at 677.62. And guess what else is there? The daily 100 SMA. So when I'm creating this analysis this morning, one of the key things that I would look for is for the S&P 500 to gap fill first, right? And then see if that long is created. So my gap rules for myself as a trader, if we gap up, I'm not longing until we gap fill. If we gap down, I don't want to short into a gap down. I want to see a gap fill and then a continuation to the downside, all right? So that is something that I am definitely watching today, a gap fill back to 677.62, rejecting these previous highs. Hey, if the market just wants to be a rocket ship this morning, then we're gonna have to just reclaim the Tuesday lows, right? Back above this 684 spot. All right. So I would make sure you have your gap fill level marked out. Now, the QQQ. This one, in my opinion, is possibly the cleanest look on the market today. I really like the look of the QQQ, and it's done some really clean things here. So if we look at the QQQ over the last few days, we've had a very clean downtrending move, and that downtrending move has moved lower and filled a gap that we've had on this chart from 590 to 595, right? So I have a gap here from 595 to 590, which got filled yesterday. So that's a good thing. We filled the gap. This was a long-term gap from quite a bit ago, right? If you see lower, below that, you have the October low, which held very strong. Now, today, and I don't know why this is green. Let me make that red real quick. This should be a red spot because this is a potential rejection point. You can see today that we are trading under the September high and the rejections from yesterday here, and we're trading above this December low. So this is a very major inflection point right here. If the QQQ can reclaim the yesterday's rejection points here and get back above this September high around 602, 603, I think there is a possibility that that moves higher into this 610 high. See this 610 right here? That is also the Tuesday low. So I'm very cautious of what that does there. The gap fill on the Qs, if we go to the daily chart, yesterday's close on the QQQ is right here at 597. So now let's go to the 30-minute chart once again. 597 would be your gap fill right here. So maybe today what you want to look for first, at least this is something that I'm paying attention to, is, all right, if the QQQ fails here, fails at the same spot that we rejected yesterday, right in here, these rejection points from yesterday. If we fail this same spot, do we come back down and fill that gap? All right, fill that gap back down to 597. And then do we start to come back higher? For me, I would not want to be long the QQQ if we are rejecting the same spot that we failed yesterday here. And we are also right near those Tuesday lows, all right? Not interesting to me. Now, if we can have a strong reclaim of that, then I would consider whether there is a short-term trade back up into 610, right? I like this little spot right here. These lows, these highs, that's 610. If we go to the NASDAQ futures, that is right here at that 25,200. And it would be a reclaim of this 24,915, right? You can see how that lines up pretty much identical on the NASDAQ and QQQ. Okay? Now, one thing that I want to point out to everyone that's watching today is I want you to pay attention to the SMH, okay? The SMH yesterday did something that I hope a lot of people were paying attention to, but maybe some weren't, and I hope that this could help you. The SMH, through all of the downside on the market yesterday, through all of the weakness that you saw, the SMH, the semiconductor ETF, did not, I repeat, did not break the previous day lows. So while the NASDAQ broke the previous day lows very aggressively, right? Here's the Wednesday low, here's yesterday's lows, right? A very aggressive downside move and a very big move to the downside, breaking the previous day low. What sector did not do that? The SMH. And that is very important, guys, because the SMH has been a very, very major move on this market to the upside. So I would just pay attention to whether this level continues to maintain. This 376 to 373 area, this daily 50 SMA. And on top of that, if we go to the daily chart, take a look at this daily chart. The daily chart, you are retesting this previous high here, and we look at where you maintained right here. So while this is not just like, oh, I'm just going to go long with my whole account here, right? This is just an interesting spot to be paying attention to. This, if you draw a retracement from this move, from this low to this high, this is between that 50 to 61.8% retracement. So it's a quality retracement on this move, right? It's back into these double top highs, and it is back into the daily 50 SMA, okay? That is quite an interesting spot to be paying attention to what the SMH does. Now, we are still rejecting some of these previous lows, right? So this is technically not sort of in the clear for me. And you also are on a pretty massive gap up, right? So there's still some things to be very careful of here before you just start getting big ideas and start slamming longs. I would definitely want to see the SMH end the week on a hold above these lows right here and this Tuesday low, right around this 391. I would probably also want to see the SMH reclaim this 398 and this daily 20 SMA above. So while it's an interesting hold, I think it's still just a monitor, right? And sort of pay attention to saying, hey, that was interesting that the SMH held those lows. I'm not going to make any broad assumptions, which a lot of people in the chat love to do, right? They think they're masterminds and Albert Einstein and they know exactly what's going to happen in the future, right? That's not what I do, right? I'm not here to explain to you what's going to happen. I'm giving you the feedback and the advice that you need to make a quality decision. So the fact of the matter is, whether you think the SMH is still bearish or not, I don't really care. The fact of the matter is, the SMH did not break yesterday's lows, the Wednesday's lows, when the NASDAQ did. And by default and by definition, that is outperformance. So I don't care the opinions that there is. The truth of the matter is that the SMH did not break the previous day lows yesterday while the NASDAQ did. That's not an opinion. That's just a fact. So if I'm watching that moving forward, I want to have that fact and understand that that occurred, right? That's something that might come into play and maybe actually makes you money if you stop trading with a bias, right? So that's something I would absolutely be paying attention to. All right. So SMH, definitely something to be paying attention to there today. Let's go over to the IWM. Let's take a look at the small caps. So the small caps, you can see right here, 253, 255, right? Interesting spot. You pulled back into these previous highs here. If you go to the 4-hour, take a look at the IWM. Previous highs here, previous highs here, previous highs in this consolidation area here, and take a look where the IWM has been holding, right? So go to the 4-hour chart, take a look at the 4-hour lows that were created here at the 255, 253 level. That is also at the daily 50 SMA. Now, I wouldn't say, again, nothing in this market, I would just go ahead and try to long right away because you still need a lot of context behind these moves. We need to see what today's price action shows. But for now, you can definitely see that that level is trying to maintain. I would personally want to see the IWM get back above this low here around 260. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we can see that between 260 and right here around these highs, around 259, we definitely had some previous rejection points. So you can see right here, these highs here, these lows here, 260 to 259. That's definitely a spot that I would be paying attention to, okay? So keep an eye on that IWM area today. It's a good hold, but it's definitely a spot that I would be paying attention to. All right, let's go over to, we can take a look at gold, GC, right here. I can now see why Vince limits who can chat in the YouTube. Yeah. That's all right. Gold futures. Nice spot, right? Nice spot that gold futures has moved lower into. You can see right here, 4680, 4620, these previous highs right here. That's nice. That's a nice little area that gold has continued to hold on to. Now, I would say that gold has probably found itself in a channel, right? You're probably going to start channeling here on gold futures. You had a big move to the upside. You had a massive move to the downside. And now you're just going to, I think, I would say sort of consolidate in this area. This is a major demand low, and this is a major supply high here. And you can see that we've sort of just been staying within this area for now. So I'm not really too interested in gold as of late after the big move and the big drop. Consolidation is good for now. Let's just let this consolidate a little bit. I think that's probably pretty good. I agree, Tech, gold consolidation area for some time. I think that's true. All right, I agree with that. I would look for that consolidation. I'm not sure I'm a trader of that area on gold. What else did I want to go over? I think that's roughly it. I'm going to go ahead and look at a few equities just to point out some big opportunities out there that I would go ahead and talk about. I know a lot of you guys probably are interested in Palantir. I just wanted to show you some weekly levels that are very important here on Palantir. The first one that I'm going to show you is this Palantir high. So this high here on Palantir, I want you to pay attention to this 125.41. See this weekly high here from back in February of 2025? This is a pretty major spot. And if you look at where Palantir held, you can see 125.41, right? This is not a coincidence. So see how Palantir is starting to curl off this 125.41 spot? That is this major weekly high. So I would be very cautious of, what happens at this area. Again, I wouldn't just instantly look to long this area, and especially because I think, well, actually, no, disregard. I would just not want to look to instantly long this area because, again, you have previous rejection points, right? This could very well reject this 140. However, I would pay attention to the weekly, and I would start to see if it starts to develop a hold at this spot. And then you just slowly monitor if this becomes an opportunity. Another one that I know a lot of people are interested in, Hood. I want to show you, again, a very similar analysis on Hood. You have this major weekly high on Hood here, right, at 67. And if you look at where Hood moved lower into yesterday, it was basically right into that weekly high. A little bit off, but very close. So Hood and Palantir moving aggressively into some weekly previous highs, I would be just monitoring those and to see what they do. Some large cap tech, I'll show you two that I sort of like today. One of them is Broadcom, and one of them is, I'm going to show you Broadcom, and I'm going to show you maybe Microsoft. I have a few others, but we're just sort of running out of time. Something that I want to show you on Broadcom, guys, something that is important and to, sort of monitor here. Broadcom has filled the gap, right? So Broadcom filled this major gap up, and it filled it over the last few days right here at 308.78. And so right here, you can see over the last few days, even with the market downside, Broadcom has done a very good job of maintaining that gap fill level, and it also is maintaining the daily 200 SMA. So that's a pretty interesting spot that Broadcom continues to outperform at. And so I just want to be a monitor of this area. Does the daily 200 continue to hold on Broadcom? Do we reclaim these lows here? And does this create an opportunity maybe back into the 340 highs? That's something I definitely am interested in today. Another one that has recently filled its gap and is starting to hold its gap fill is Microsoft. A very big spot on Microsoft, and you can see Microsoft's had a major downside move, filled this huge gap over here, and that gap fill was 396.66. And so if we go into the 15-minute chart, take a look at where Microsoft held or is holding this morning. This is really one of my top watches today. Look at that gap fill level, 396.66. You filled the gap, you trapped below it, and look at where you're reclaiming and holding above today. So if Microsoft can fill that gap and start to hold that gap fill level, there is possibly a gap fill reversal trade that I would be very interested in. Now, yesterday on my live stream, we were sort of game planning for the retest rejection play, and that was right under these Tuesday, Wednesday's lows, which turned into a fantastic failure point yesterday. So the target on this trade would really just be up into that 408.56. If you get above that, then that's a strong reclaim trade. So either way, Microsoft is definitely something I'm watching to see how it performs at this gap fill level. It's definitely a beat up stock that I'm not going to just instantly look to recover and long, but it's spots that are interesting, right? These are the inflection points that are important to pay attention to. Yeah, of course, MU, WDC, SNDK, we'll be watching those in the group. Of course, those are strong names that could stay strong again. And then the last thing let me take a peek at the XLP before I jump off here. Yeah, I would just say overall, make sure you pay attention to what's been going on the XLP. This is the consumer staples, stocks like Walmart, stocks like Walmart, like Costco, like Philip Morris. These are some big consumer staple names. And the XLP has been massively, massively outperforming. So does that continue? We shall see. But that's something to understand. XLP outperformance with some of the market, I guess, fear, you could say. Big one, right? You can always go over to the Analyze tab and go to XLP. You can see the biggest names in the sector. Biggest names in this sector, Walmart, Costco, Procter & Gamble, Philip Morris, Coca-Cola, right? Some big names, Target's one in there. So just pay attention to what's been going on over there. It's been a spot on the market that's been very strong, okay? Very strong. All right, guys. to you guys that enjoyed the live stream in the chat, I know there's a lot of interesting characters in there today, but to you guys, I appreciate you being here. If you could press the like button for the TradeZella TV squad. They are going to be taking over from this point forward. So I appreciate the opportunity. Hope you enjoyed the live stream and the analysis. If you don't know who I am, you probably don't understand anything that I talked about today, but I can tell you that if you're interested in learning more levels and understanding how to trade off these levels, it's a great thing to be doing. So appreciate your support, appreciate you being here, and appreciate TradeZella for the opportunity. Have a great trading day, guys.
What is going on, guys? Big thank you to Vince for doing that. What a legend. We are now obviously on with me and Newman. This is the normal sort of TradeZella crew that we've got here. So if you are new here, make sure to go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to be giving away a year of TradeZella to one of you guys today in celebration of this. So morning, everyone. Morning, everyone. First things first, we've got Newman. He's going to go through his game plan for the day. Then I'll go through my game plan. And then we will be trading together all day live here today on TradeZella TV. We're here doing this every single day, Tuesday till Friday every week. So yeah, Newman, take it away, my friend.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great morning. Once again, thank you so much to Vincent for sharing his game plan and sharing his insights. Welcome to everyone once again in this pre-market. Josh has already mentioned, we run pre-market every single day and the session, live session every single day. For those who do not know me, my name is Numan. I have been trading for 6 to 7 years, equities plus futures. I trade basically based on order flow and the market thesis and basically take it from there. So as said, once again, thank you so much, everyone. And I hope you guys can see me or you guys can hear me. Okay, I'm just making sure that you guys can see me and hear me. All right, looks like everything is looking fine. Speak louder. Okay, looks like there are some technical issues with the stream. Can you guys hear me now? Is it better? All right, great. So let's have a look at the market asset. I mean, Vincent already has shared some great insights, so we're just going to add on to that. First of all, the important data points for the session. Today, 10 a.m. is going to be very, very important because we have consumer sentiment coming at 10 a.m. And whenever we have data like this, such as consumer sentiment, such as inflation, such as jobs report, those timing, those data points become very, very interesting, very, very important because that's something that the market cares about a lot. So today, 10 a.m. is going to be extremely, extremely important. So for those of you who are trading the morning session, let's say going into 10 a.m., better to not take any trades, let's say, until the data comes and after seeing the reaction of the market. So as you guys know, overall, we have been in a very, very strong downtrend, insane wave of selling across almost all the sectors, be it semi, be it space, be it industrials. Everything has been selling off like no tomorrow. But yesterday, we saw sort of a little bit of exhaustion with indices holding at strong, strong critical levels. Reviewing the trade plan in yesterday's session, market reacted very, very strongly to our inflection zone that we covered in yesterday's session. That is around 65 to 68.80. We saw a very, very strong rejection straight into our critical support zone around 6800 bounce, but the afternoon session was sold again in yesterday's session. Pre-market looks like we made some very, very strong lows and a very, very quick reversal and opening right back into a very, very strong resistance zone. So I guess today's session is going to be a very, very strong tell if bulls are finally able to sort of clearly break this very, very strong downtrend channel that we are in downtrend line, short-term downtrend line that we are in for quite some time. So for those of you who have been trading the last couple of sell-off, just be careful and do not, I would not personally, let's say, blindly go long in this area just because we are seeing some sort of bounce in the pre-market. And the reason for that, again, is that if you just look at the short-term bigger picture, we are still in a sort of downtrend and sort of trying to battle in this entire area. So going into today's session, my critical inflection zone, or the area that I am paying attention to, is around 68.20. I think that zone is going to be extremely important in terms of deciding the potential roadmap for the session. So my inflection for the session, or scenarios for the session, is if the market, let's say, keeps on holding this 620, this entire 20 to 70, this is likely going to be our playground for the session, where possible rips being sold and potential dips being bought into 68.20. Now, whenever we say 68.20 or 6800, whatever the case may be, we are not talking about just a specific level, but that zone. And why we say that zone? Because of the liquidity, because of the market makers. Whenever they run those important zones, important level, they always grab the liquidity before finally going for a reversal move. So this area is going to be extremely important. If we finally start, let's say, bidding above 68.75, 6800, then we are potentially looking for a little bit of squeeze to take out all the shorts that are sitting in this entire area. So this is going to be my game plan on S&P 500 today for the session. Moving on to Qs. Qs have been very interesting in the last couple of sessions. Again, yesterday's game plan looked, in the morning, we actually had a very strong bounce of 600. This was a little quick trade that I took, but we actually sold up very strongly. Had a lot of struggle at 596. And then basically the rest of the session was just sort of playing around with that level and not really finding a very strong footing, right? Pre-market, very strong bounce of 588, 590. So very critical level from a bigger time frame. And today we are opening the pre-market again back above 600, right? So today the game plan on Qs is very much in alignment with S&P 500. That is, the inflection on the session is going to be around 595, 596. I'm not, again, if you're looking at the pre-market and you're seeing, you know, we are bouncing very strong, almost 10 points bounce in the pre-market. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go long right off the open, putting my risk at 600, whatnot. I think the market needs a little bit of time to decide if it wants to actually break this downtrend, the way of selling that we have been seeing for quite some time, and actually reverse and move higher, right? We have two very strong liquidity points sitting at 602 and 604. This is a liquidity coming from yesterday's session. A lot of volume got traded in this entire zone, but bulls failed to sort of, you know, take a bid higher. So in ideal situation, in today's session, what I want to see, especially after 10 a.m., is a potential retracement all the way to 595, 596 if it happens, and bulls defending very strongly, right? The order flow defending very strongly. Dip, you actually see strong signs of dip being bought, and then bulls coming in very strong. I think that will be a very good risk to reward trading opportunity. Again, just be very cautious in terms of, you know, if you're seeing that the pre-market is green, so the first thing I'm going to do is that right the market opens, I'm going to go ahead and take a long position. That is not the best scenario. That's where a lot of folks lose a lot of money when they do not have a lot of patience. And, you know, right off the bat, they just see the pre-market green, and the first thing is like, okay, in 931, long trade. So I think that is not the best case, especially in this type of market when things are very volatile and they can change very quickly. So once again, consumer sentiment, 10 a.m. is going to be a very important mark. Inflection for the session, 595, 596. I think that's going to be a very critical point that will likely decide the potential roadmap for the session. a bit higher, we are potentially going back to taking this liquidity. Ideally, under constant pressure, 607, 610, that's the area on the upside, the line in the sand up on the upside that I am watching. Rejection or basically failure to hold above, we are potentially retesting and taking a leg lower back to 590s and then deciding what do we want to there. What do we want to do there? So as usual, the clue for the session in terms of the breadth is going to be VIX. That is the first big thing that I am paying attention to whenever the markets are in a selling mode, right? Two levels that are going to be extremely important today, again, for the session is number one, 20. Whenever VIX is trading or holding the bid at 20, markets become extremely volatile. Ideally, for longs, for bulls to come in, you want either a bid below 20 in a strong fashion, or a trend being established such as this, like the fear, the volatility starts coming down. So ideally today, you want to see, for bulls to actually showcase some strength, you want to see VIX trading below 20 and then basically taking it from there. As long as 20, 22, this entire zone it gets traded, I think things are going to become slightly difficult for bulls to basically, build on something. So this is my first sort of cheat code, cheat sheet, whatever you want to call it, that I'm paying attention to potentially see, what the market could potentially do today for the session. Other things I always pay attention to is basically add, advance, and decline line. Showcases you how the overall stocks are trading in the basket of stocks on NASDAQ, or sorry, on NYSE. Yesterday, not a lot of tell, but ideally for good conditions, for bullish momentum, you want the momentum to build up above zero, above the neutral line. In the best case scenario, above 1,000. And then basically take it from there, right? If this thing keeps on going lower, but the market, just keeps on going higher, that showcases you that not a lot of stocks are participating in the rally or participating in the strong move on the upside. So just make sure that whenever you are trading, especially S&P 500, especially Qs, make sure that the breadth is aligning with the price action as well. When the breadth is aligning, for example, when the VIX is aligning, with AD is aligning, when tick is aligning, when all these components are aligning, it gives you a confirmation that the move on the upside or on the downside is very, very strong, and it has some legs, right? Same with tick, for example, another component to sort of look at whenever you are trading S&P 500 and Qs. So this is basically my game plan on indices. And 100%, yeah, just looking at the comments, when VIX is over 20, size down, because the volatility is strong. You get one candle, one minute candle covering 10 points and whatnot. So if you have to drastically, whenever the VIX is above 20, you have to drastically decrease your size that you usually trade with, right? In terms of some equities, some things which are looking interesting in the pre-market, first is Amazon. Amazon is down almost 10%, more than 10%, close to 10% if not mistaken, in the pre-market. One big factor in their report today is the capex guidance. Basically, capex that they announced that they are gonna spend almost 200 billion that they allocated for capex for moving forward. And that is something the market is not liking too much. This has been sort of a trend recently in recent reports that companies are allocating huge amount of money to capex. With all the big mega caps in the market is not liking that too much. So Amazon with the same story, 200 billion capex, and we are seeing some strong move on the downside. 200, 208, 210 inflection on the upside. Looks like it is already rejecting that area very, very clean. On the downside, you have 200, which is a very, very strong, big psychological level. Is going to be a big inflection for the session, right? As long as this zone keeps on holding, we have 200, 205, 210. This is going to be the playground. If bid is given below, then we have potential first trade as the pre-market, the earnings lows, and basically taking it from there. So this is the one catalyst name that I am paying attention to today for the session. PLTR, sort of same story. I think Vincent actually already covered This one in the pre-market, 140, 142 is going to be a very, very big zone to keep an eye on. It did hold a 125-ish, which is a big zone on the weekly time frame. And now we are seeing some strong bounce, big strong bounce in the pre-market. So 140, 142 is going to be a very, very strong inflection on the session. Not second, but third day play AMD, also same scenario, playing with 200 level is going to be quite an interesting. If you look at the semis, all the semis are actually bouncing very strong in the pre-market. Nvidia is up hundreds, are almost 10 points. AMD is bouncing. So as I think Vincent did cover it before as well, semi sector is showcasing that it might be ready for a little bit of a bounce. So those are the names that I'm watching today. Just to repeat once again, semi sector, AMD looking quite interesting at around 200 level. Amazon 200 zone is also going to be very interesting. That's going to be a big inflection for the session. And apart from that, already covered Qs and S&P 500. So this is what I am looking at the market today. Again, 10 a.m. going to be extremely important. Consumer sentiment. Do not trade when the data is coming. Always take a step back. Let the market digest the news. Let the market digest the data. And depending on what level it trades after the initial reaction, then basically take it from there. So I hope this makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Josh. And then he will take it from here, and he will cover the commodities, forex market, and what is happening in other tickers. Just gonna go through some comments. Great, yeah. Looking, how do you feel about Tesla? Tesla is actually moving more or less in sync with the market. A 390 big zone, back above 400 in the pre-market. With the names such as Tesla, such as Apple, such as Nvidia, the thing is that these stocks have a very high beta. What is a high beta? High beta stocks are the stocks which move in sync with the market, which have a very strong correlation with the market. What does it mean? It means that when the market moves 1 point or 2 points, whatever the case may be, whatever the condition it gets into, these stocks completely follow the market and print candle by candle, right? So that is why whenever the market is in play, be it is a sell-off, be it a bullish, the best is to just play the market and not the stocks. Unless, let's say, the stock is at a high, strong demand zone or a big multi-monthly, let's say, demand or support level, or whatever the case may be. The best is just to focus on the market because of the correlation and because of the high beta. So Tesla, I think it's very much likely going to just do what the market is doing as of now. All right, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining TradeZella TV and being part of this pre-market. And I wish you all a great trading day. I'm going to go to Discord, and that's where we're going to live trade as well. And I'm going to leave you guys with Josh, and he will take it from here. Josh, over to you.
All right. Cheers, Numan. Thank you, Numan, for that. That was very insightful. Is TradeZella a daily show? Yes, it is. We are here every single day, Monday to Friday. But as promised, for those of you that have currently liked and subscribed to the stream, I will, in fact, go ahead and give away a 1-year subscription of TradeZella. So we'll go ahead and do that now before obviously market opens, because as I say, we're going to be trading today all day. So we've got plenty of time to catch up on the charts. We'll do this really quick right here. All right, guys. So what I need you to do to enter today's giveaway is I need you to go ahead and put just TZ. So just the letters TZ. I need you to put that once in the chat and only once. If you put it multiple times, it will make you less likely to win. So just put TZ in the chat once, and you will automatically go ahead and be entered into today's giveaway. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to a minute to go ahead and do that. And then I will go ahead and we'll pull up our name wheel spinner, and we'll go ahead and pick the winner for that. Okay. Now, obviously, to be entered into this giveaway, you must be liked and subscribed to the channel to be eligible. So make sure ahead to go ahead and do that. All right. I will give you guys till 21 minutes past here. So we've got about another 30 seconds to get your TZ in the channel. And we'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and put some music on here. Can you guys hear the music? It's a little loud. Just whilst we chill here, as I say, this is an all-day show. So we're going to be sat here chilling all day, live trading for you guys. Cool. All right, we've got another 30 seconds or so, and then I'll go ahead and get everyone's names here. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and grab everyone's names. All right. Okay, let's get you all in here. All right, it's just loading for you, and I will go ahead and run this giveaway really quick, and then I will go ahead and jump into my pre-market. We like to cover everything here, so we have a vast range of traders trading different styles. So we'll cover Forex, we'll cover indices, we'll cover commodities, all that type of stuff. But I trade slightly different to those two, so you might see a slightly different style. All right, here we go. Here are all the names for the giveaway. Okay, here we go. So this will be deciding who wins today's 1 year free of TradeZella. As I said, we do giveaways here every day though. So if you didn't win today, come back tomorrow and you might be able to win them. All right, today's winner is Shai Faz 1. You, my friend, have just won 1 year of TradeZella, sorry. So what I need you to do is I have just gone ahead and taken a screenshot of this. I'm just gonna put this in our Discord right here. And if you just go in our Discord and you go ahead to the TradeZella TV chat right here, you'll see that I posted your name right here. If you're not currently in our Discord, let me go ahead and invite you right here. There is the link. And if you just go ahead and comment underneath this post here, I will go ahead and DM you your 1 year of TradeZella and go ahead and get you set up. Okay. Just checking. You are here, my man. Yeah. Congrats. Awesome. All right, cool. So once you've gone ahead and done that, as I say, I will go ahead and give you that 1 year free of TradeZella. But I'm sure a lot of you here are options traders and you are stock traders. Is only 720, right? Okay, so how can we improve the stream quality for you guys then? Because I saw a few of you say that. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this because I can't be having low quality screen here. Right, entire screen, share system audio. I think to make the quality higher, I would have to restart the stream, which sadly I can't do today. Yeah, resolution 720. I can't restart the stream, I'm afraid, guys, but tomorrow we'll be back better. So sorry about that. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into today's pre-market for myself and then obviously the live trading. So we do only have 7 minutes, so I will be really quick over the kind of Forex side and then covering gold, right? So in terms of the Forex market, we are looking for these continued bullish prices. For those of you that do trade Forex, I have said many times that kind of Forex is more of a swing trading kind of asset and small kind of swing trading characteristics. But I am very much so looking for price to continue up to 122.693. This right here, if we just draw out this price lag, we can see right here that we are in discount of this range and we are inside this little golden pocket area right here, which you can see we're pushing out nicely. So as we've been kind of saying for the last like 2 or 3 days now, we are anticipating to see accumulation here for quite a while and then looking for this kind of move down to then continue up. And it looks like we are now starting to get this move down. So we might today at some point very much so start to see these higher prices get put in and we'll look to trade up to these highs at 1.20830. But as I said, Forex is very much a swing trading kind of asset and will likely take quite a few days to get up there, maybe even a week, all right? GBP USD, similar, almost the exact same game plan. Looking at this in terms of it just continuing up to 1.4 areas. So looking for that continued bullish push on GBP USD. As I say, just not really too much to do that. Those of you that have been here the last few days, you know that this has been our plan for the last week, and now it is kind of starting to pay out. So yeah, just looking for that, not too much to cover on that. Gold, very much so, just looking at this. So gold, we did have this larger sell-off here, which I anticipated to be profit taking, and this right here was kind of this demand that caused this move up right here. Now, as we can see here, we kind of tap back into this kind of demand level. We accumulated for a while, but if we draw out our premium discount levels from this swing low to where that we are currently at the swing high, we can see here that we did manage to respect this golden pocket area once again. And we also tapped into this demand level down here, which we managed to buy up last night during Asia session. Now, in terms of where we go next, I do anticipate that we will probably continue slightly higher today, and we'll end up being more bullish and probably trade up to 5042. But I'm not too sure if we end up breaking out of this range, potentially even just as high as 4982 today. And then we might see just further consolidation here whilst we kind of gear up for the next kind of move. Now, obviously, we do have this 10 a.m. news coming out, so it is always going to be best to wait for that. But we'll see. This is kind of what I'm anticipating today on gold. I'm anticipating this push up from this hourly kind of demand level that we see here, and then looking for continued higher prices up into this hourly level, and then potentially look for just basically continuation chop. All right. Then we have got the beast itself, NASDAQ. So NASDAQ today, this is what we will be live trading today all day. We're going to be live trading NQ and ES. In terms of what we're looking at here, we can see that the weekly has started to shift to the downside. We did put in divergence up here at these highs, and we do have plenty of targets to go for the downside. But I also don't want to be that person that says, oh, bears, 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 you know, even with that. So I want to be prepared for both sides, and I want to set my if and then statements for the day. And as I kind of preach to you guys a lot, it's very important in trading to have an if then statement, okay? And in terms of every single scenario. So if you do set up your day and you manage to plan all your different scenarios, that means that it's very unlikely that you're going to come into your trading emotional. Because if you have a series of if and then statements planned out and already pre-prepped, that means no matter what the market does, you are planned and you are prepared for that in terms of your risk, in terms of how you're going to trade it and how you're going to execute. So in terms of my if and then statements for the day, what I can see here is I have this 4-hour area of supply right here. So this also lines up with a sort of, you know, an area of imbalance here. And I would love to see that price come tap back into here and then look for a continued sell-off. So this is going to be my first plan of the day, looking for continuation sells from this level. Now, my second kind of plan for the day, and what I anticipate potentially to happen on market open, and we'll see here in about 2 minutes time, is that price comes back down into this level right here that we can see marked up. And if we just draw a premium discount of this range, we can see that 50% aligned here. So I'm anticipating price to basically on the open manipulate down into this 50% into this area right here, and then look for price to continue up to this 4-hour, and then look to see price reverse for the rest of the day like so. So this is going to be my plan here for the day and what I'm essentially looking at. So let me just go ahead to TradeZella, put this into my pre-market context area and possible scenarios for the day so that I can look back over this later on. In terms of if I am potentially wrong here, my question is, where do I flip bullish, right? Where do I want to flip bullish here today if I am wrong? I think if 10 a.m. does, so if the market opens here and we end up tapping into this zone very aggressively, and then we end up having this continuation move to the upside, I would very much like to see this 4-hour level and this 4-hour demand kind of get invalidated here. And then at 10 a.m., if we can close somewhere up here above like 24,997, then I would potentially look to continue this move higher and then see it continue above like so. And I would possibly swap my bias to longs at that point. In terms of targets where I could target for a long, I would target no further than 25,173, as I think this is where we'll see a lot of volume kick in at this area, and we'll see a lot of defense from the sellers. So my other kind of alternative for the day is that we actually end up never coming back down today, and we end up closing through here and then continuing up to this level. My condition before I can take a long though will be a closure above 24,991. So I need to see a closure above on the hourly or the 4-hour. of this level to then take a long. So I'm going to have to wait at least until 10 a.m. to take any long positions today. Let's go ahead and put that in so I can look back on that a little bit. But I think the main plan, the main trade that I'm going to look for here very shortly, in about 1 second's time, is a bounce off this 1 hour level that I've marked right here. So the market is just opening. Let's go ahead and pull up ES side by side, and let's get into this. Guys, I'm also going to put a little poll in the chat for you guys right here. And it's going to be a little bullish or bearish poll. I'm very curious to see what you guys think the NQ is going to do today, or the ES. So let's do a little poll here. Direction for the day. Bullish, bearish. All right, let's see what you guys think. Okay, so we did end up having this little manipulation down on the market open. We have ended up pushing up a lot more aggressively on ES today rather than NQ. Still looking to see this continue down though and tap into this lower level and take out this low. Then looking for a reaction to see if we can go long from there. I also wouldn't be surprised if we do end up just continuing to flush and coming down here for these London and Asia lows, but I'm going to wait and see on that. My condition to go short without us tapping into this 4 hour area today is a close below 24,609. So we do have some divergence here. Just looking at this, if I pull up ES on the 15-minute chart here, still looking to see it push down slightly lower before we see a reaction back up to the upside. Not touching anything until we take 24,712, or if we end up never tapping 24,712, then I'm looking to take my shorts from 24,915. So just waiting on one of my if and then statements. Bullish. All right, the poll says 56% bearish, so the majority of you are leaning bearish today. All right, there we go. We tapped into my area of interest here, so I might possibly be able to get a long from this. But as I say, I would not be surprised if we just keep flushing down for these Asia lows all the way down here at 24,341. I think overall we are bearish. This is more of like a scalpy, trade to come up to here. So looking for that reaction here to continue up to 24,900. I also just realized, because I was setting up the stream today, I'm not logged into my trading accounts. So let me go ahead and log into these real quick. I think I'm probably going to end up missing this long because I haven't logged in. What an idiot. All right, we got the reaction we wanted to see. Almost a perfect reaction from our level here at 24,713. So looking to see this continuation carry on up. That's the wrong account. Damn, that's annoying. I wasn't logged into my trading account. Okay. Nonetheless, though, we're seeing our game plan play out here. So looking for prices to now trade up, as I say, up to this level here at 24,917, 24,886, and then looking for a potential for reversal. So we still have a little bit higher to go here, up to here. Okay, so there are my accounts. I gotta set up my copy trader now. Anyone managed to catch that long? In Meta, nice. Definitely seeing that bullish reaction on the open for sure. Kara caught it. Of course Kara caught it. Kara, you in here every day catching every single move. All right, let's turn these up. Still looking for a push a little bit higher yet. Just a little bit more to go. All right, we've reached our first sort of target there. So we can potentially look for some kind of reversal. So now we're reacting off our level here, and we can potentially look for reversal to the downside. And ping pong off these levels right now. All right, so that's set up. We can set this up here, 24,301. Okay. Just going to open up another tab here so that you guys don't all steal all my money and I can log in. I actually think one of you guys tried to hack my account the other day. Because I always leave my my logins up, and I got a notification that someone tried to log in. So I think it was one of you. All right, we've seen a pretty much perfect rejection from the level we marked there. So let's see if we can get this continuation follow through. Yeah, I will trade M&Q. I'm not logged in yet. How do we feel about the music today? We okay with the music today? Do we want to change up? Yeah, it is partially my fault too, Paul. It is partially my fault. What do we think about Bitcoin? Did anyone buy up Bitcoin yesterday? It reached my level where I was looking to enter some Bitcoin. So I'm very curious too. I'm going to take a look at that a little bit today as well and possibly see if we can load up on some. I haven't loaded in all my Bitcoin yet though. All right, let's put this here. And close off this chart and let's go back to the NQ chart here. I should be logged in and ready to go here. I'm just going to do a little test position, guys, to make sure that my copy trader is working fine today. So this is not just a heads up. This is not me taking a trade. It is simply just me doing a little test to make sure all my settings are working. Everything's working good. No, okay, it's not working. All right, why is that not working? All right, let's try it again here. Let's do a buy this time. There we go. We're all set up. That's all good. That works. Oh, made a nice little $12, $16 there. Lovely. Got some last night, 66K. Video's pretty blurry today. Yeah, I really don't know how to fix this, to be honest, guys. It's really annoying because it's so clear on my end. Yeah, it is quite blurry, to be fair. It is quite blurry today. I would have to restart the stream to fix it though, but I would promise I will get this fixed for tomorrow. It's because we had to use a new software today to kind of allow everyone to stream at the same time for like a multi-streaming thing, which unfortunately has clearly messed up the quality of the stream, which is quite annoying. But let's see. As I said, we do still have here. So we rejected out of our hourly zone pretty much perfectly here. And we are seeing this continued push up. I am looking for some kind of reversal from this kind of area now that we have tapped into this 4-hour order block or 4-hour area of supply. So a little bit higher to push before we tap into that. Just a couple more points and then we'll be looking for that sell. Gold is apparently pushing. Love to see it. Expecting gold to continue to push at least to this level here at 4981. So still looking on that potentially. I'm looking at the gold contracts. Okay, here we go. I think we're tapped into our area. Okay, we've tapped into our area. So now I'm looking for some kind of shorts here. As I say, I'm not going to enter any shorts unless I get pretty concrete confirmation here, especially with the open that we had here and how bullish it was. Well, I'm not sure about this music with this woman screaming. Not sure about that. Okay, that's enough of that. Jesus. She was a little bit wild for that. I'm just trying to think, how can I make the resolution better for you guys? I could trade on this monitor. I know this will give it a better resolution, but that really does handicap me in terms of my own trading. But yeah, we had Vincent on today. Let me know which guest you would like to see us next. Hoping to get Umar on here to do his pre-market game plan at some point very soon. So that'd be pretty good to see. We've got another guest coming on next week. We've got a couple just more so influencers lined up for next week to come and trade alongside me in terms of the live trading. So that'd be good. All right, so we're starting to see some reversal here from the level that I wanted. Let's see if we can get some nice follow through here. I like the 930 wick that we put in. I like how elongated this wick is. So this shows me that this is probably going to be a high quality target for the day. So definitely if I can get some kind of divergence put in here, I'll look to take this down there. Doesn't need to be crystal clear to see your levels. I think we're good for today. I know, but I would just much rather it be higher quality. There has to be a way to fix this. Yeah, there isn't. I can change it, but I have to restart the stream. Whereas Desi came on this morning and did his pre-market game plan. So if you guys want to see that, just go back and hit rewind on the stream and go back to the very start of the stream here. So about an hour and 10 minutes ago, if you rewind to the very start of the stream, you'll be able to see Desi's full game plan. So as I say, looking for this short now from this area. So far, we're playing out pretty perfectly towards the plan. So looking to see this continuation here. In terms of what we have here, let's just clear this up really quick. So I have nothing there. All right, so we could, this does validate a short for me here, I can't lie. We're gonna look at taking a short here. You got a little bit of a reverse entry there, but looking for that short to play out. So I'm gonna go break even at the slowdown here. And then I'm gonna set my targets down here. Let me just check that's copied across to all my accounts. Yes, it has. And I'll buy limit down here. And let's see how this one plays. We have a 5 minute down there. Yeah, I think this should be okay. Not gone in too heavy on this anyway. I need 2 micros per account. But I am cautious of the fact that we might want to come back and kind of resweep these highs before I end up getting another entry. Because we didn't put any divergence in at the high. But I did like the break-even point on this trade and the target for this trade. So are we going to run to the stop nice and quick? Or are we going to hold? All right, there we go. There's our divergence got put in, so we might come our way now. Well, I've had better trades on the first day. All right, we got taken out of that one. That was a little bit of an early entry, to be fair, but all good, all good. We'll wait and see if we get another idea here. That might mean that we end up just continuing long for the entirety of the rest of the day here. So as I say, potentially looking to flip long if we can close through here after 10 a.m. We'll see. Is this one going to upload straight into TradeZella? That's recent. So that does end our win streak this week, guys. Yeah, that's a shame. That does end our win streak. Oh well. I think my entry was just a little bit early, a little bit premature there. See what I'm missing. Potentially this high needs to go. This will be the last condition, and then at that point I do have to swap long. So you are Martel. Yes, unfortunately I do take losses. Unfortunately. Damn, I wanted to keep that win streak going forever. I wanted to keep the win streak going forever. Why is it not resyncing? Let's resync. Here we go. Let's get that trade imported. Oh, it's so sad. $273 lost there. The win streak is over. It's all right. We got all day to pull this back. I mean, last month we had 1, 2, 3, 4 losing days there. So. You'll also notice for today's stream that I've had to make my screen smaller than it is usual. So in terms of that high is there. Right, so we do now have divergence between these two highs. Okay. As I said, I think the idea was possibly valid. I think I was just too early. If I can get something clean, I will give this another stab. Looks like I traded so many trades here, but they're just me making sure my systems are working. I think I need to see a little bit more consolidation here before I can take another position. There is also the possibility that we do just go long, right? Bullish day. I don't see no sales. 10 a.m. news. Yeah, yeah, I know. All good, all good. Going to retry meta here, 6, 7, 8 target. Okay. Let's wait. Let's see. Let's see. I think we still reverse, to be honest. Size monitor I use. So I actually use a G9. So, you know, the 49-inch widescreen OLED thing. But because of the stream, you can't, what's the word? You can't obviously stream the whole thing because YouTube doesn't support that resolution. So I have to crop it in 2, which is kind of annoying. So normally I would have my charts all the way across all of it. But because I'm streaming, I have to crop it to just this half. So yeah. I'm not sure I like this jazz music today. I think the one we normally use is better than this. Pause on the jazz. Pause on the jazz. Yeah, this one's better. All right. See if we can get this last little stab for a push down. Guys, if we manage to get enough likes away, we could do another giveaway of TradeZella. How many likes is the stream on currently? Let's have a look. Yeah. Let's have a look. What should our like target for today be? So we're on. Just waiting still at the moment though, guys. Wait and see if we can get another opportunity for ourselves. So if we can get to 1,000 likes by the end of the day, we will do another giveaway. I think it's probably going to be a little bit slow here. Probably going to end up doing quite a lot of consolidation here before we end up seeing a move, which is fine. I don't really mind that too much. As I say, we've got news in 9 minutes, so not too much to do. Gonna wait for that. And I'll pull this over here. The 9 a.m. candle isn't screaming sells, to be honest. No, it's most definitely not. Right now, I very much see on the higher time frame much bullish. You know, we came down, we reacted perfectly off this level, and then we ended up pushing up. If 10 a.m., as I said, the other game plan for the day, and potentially where we could have gone wrong there on those shorts, but that's fine because it was a part of the game plan coming into the day, is if we can see the 10 a.m. candle close above here at 993. So we've got 8 minutes to push up slightly higher and see if we can close above there. Then I will swap for longs for the day. Rumo once again is short, 24,891 entry. Cheers for the signal, Rumo. But we might see, there's one last opportunity that we might see a quick sell-off before the candle closure. And the reason for that is because we might just all of a sudden flip this whole candle here. Not super likely, but not impossible. These musics are getting weirder and weirder every day, guys. Someone's gonna have to build me a playlist. I'll pay one of you to build me a playlist for TradeZella TV. Actually, I've just had a great idea. What I can do is I can full screen NQ here like this, and I can just move the ES chart over here. Now I know you guys won't be able to see ES, but it'll make my life a lot easier. If I go trading view here. I'm almost certain that this side, the monitor is bigger than this side. Here we go, ES. And there we go. I've got them side by side now. This is perfect. Oh, we are seeing that quick move that I said that we might anticipate to see. Let's see if this ends up playing out and we end up flipping this whole candle. Okay, just setting up my chart over here really quick. Looks like I missed my entry there whilst I was doing that. So if I was going to look for a short, I would have been here, but I'd rather wait till 10 a.m. news, but it would have looked something like this. So let's see. What else do we have here in terms of the 3 minute, 2 minute? Nothing really else going on. If we do end up closing like this, I might consider. So let's see if we end up flipping this whole thingy. If you are in this move, I would probably move to break even quite aggressively the second that we tap into here. All right, so I'd be break even here on this move. Yeah, I would also love to see the news bring us back down. If we can get a closer through this gap right here, I might look to get in this as well with a slightly tighter entry and stop. But let's see. If you are in this move from the top, I would be break even at this point. We have 5 minute down there, which looks nice. Let's see if we can get a candle closer through this here. Over 40 seconds or so. Good stuff, Grook. It's definitely important to recognize when you are over trading and take just a little 15-minute walk and a 15-minute break can go a long way. Is anyone else in anything today? What is everyone else looking at? Batista short. All right, got that closure up. See if we can pull back a little bit. Okay, I'll take another little stab at short here in the anticipation that news pushes us down. So I'm keeping risk extremely low here. Let's just check the ES chart here. Let's see. As I say, keeping risk low here because we've got news very shortly. It's the anticipation that news is going to continue to push us down back to the open price. And this whole thing ends up flipping. This is going to be the first target down here. You've got about 1 minute and 20 seconds till news. Let's see if I can get my break-even point before the news comes out. $24,922, not a bad entry. Considerably better than mine. I got fucking worst entry ever. Okay, we got about 40 seconds till the news comes out here. Might look to trail my stops to this high here just before the news comes out. Okay, I'm going to trail to here. It's $163 risk. It's pretty much nothing. All right, see, news just came out. We've ran down to our break-even point. So should be break-even here, but I can't go yet just because it's a little bit volatile. Did we actually tap it? No, we didn't quite take the break-even point, so I can't go break-even right yet. See if we can see the follow-through here. Look, need to see follow-through here. Audi closure was 15-minute closure here. Trading into this 15-minute gap. It's not my favorite. Let's see if we can follow this through though. Where's Desi? Desi came on, did the pre-market session. If you want to catch back up on Desi's pre-market session, jump back to the start of the stream and you will see his pre-market plan for the day. TradeZella TV is an all-day live type of thing. So we have different people on in the mornings, to the afternoons, to the whatever, you know. Good bit of variance. All right, I'm going to move my stocks to break even now. And looking to see this continued move down to 24,702. Let's see though, but I'm risk free now, so just get a free stab at this. If we are going to reverse back bullish, it is going to be from this low, hence why I've marked my break even at that point. If you manage to catch this from up here, 935, looking at a 4.5R, not bad. So looking to see this move happen quickly. I want to see speed through this level here. If we don't see quick movement, then it is going to come out and take me break even here. So I want to see a really aggressive candle close down below here. I do think my stops might be too tight for this, but I've got to protect risk at all times. Don't cry. You talking to me, Path? Let's get someone a little bit more upbeat. Let me go find something and I'll bring it over. Because this music is making me sad. I reckon this one's good. What are we listening to right now? Okay. I think this is slightly better because this is terrible. This is terrible choice of music. Whoever chose that. Yeah, put old school rap to pump us up. That's better. That's getting the vibes. That's getting the energy in here a bit. Right, let's take a screenshot of this anyway, add it to our journal. 9 to 5 call-in, no worries, Sean. Have a great day, my man. Soon, we won't have to do the 9 to 5, and we can just trade full time together. Right, see if we can get this last little push here. I like the close we got below that low, so looking to see this continue down to our target here. That sounds magical. Yes, it does, Sean. Yes, it does. If we can get through, if we can close below 24,775, we should see this push very quickly to the target. This is my concern here, is that we are in this demand that caused this move up here, though. But I am expecting it to fail. It's all probability at the end of the day. We're at 50% of yesterday's range right now. Yeah, I am concerned that this very well could be the point where we reverse here if we are going to go long for the day. It's all good. I protected my downside. Looking like I'm probably going to get my break even here. So our last little line of defense here is this tiny, tiny gap. So I need to see it flush down quick now. Otherwise, this is going to be a break-even trade. Dun, 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 dun. It's a good reaction there. It's a good reaction. Let's just go. Let's hit the TP. We can take our monies for the day, you know? That's that British slang coming out right there for you. Guys, where are we all from today? I know we got a few new people today, most likely. So where are we all from? Where's the average person in the chat from? We're mostly from the US. Have we got some people like me from the UK? We're from Spain, Italy, France, Canada, Romania, US, Tokyo. Let's go. I'm from this world. Fair enough. Fair enough, Batista. I respect that. Gonna trail my stops down slightly more. Australia, stock up. Australia, isn't it like it's like 2 a.m. in Australia, right? 3 a.m. even? I don't know. I thought about going to Australia and then I realized that I would have to trade at 3 o'clock in the morning. London, innit, bruv. Yeah. Sam's got the London accent down. We're all from the same place, one people. I love that, Benji. I love that from you. Macedonia. Okay. USA from Desi stream. Well, welcome, man. Welcome. As I say, we do this every day, Tuesday to Friday. We just come here, we chill, we trade, we chat, we have a good time. Trading can be a more sort of a lonely thing, so it's nice to do it with some other people. Indonesia, it's 10 p.m. Perfect trade after 8 to 5 job. Yeah, fair enough. Right, I'm going to look to possibly trail my position slightly tighter here just because I want to lock in some profits from that first loss and kind of get worst case break even on today. I think if I trail any tighter, though, I'll probably get taken out. I mean, I'm currently in profit for the day. I think I'm just going to let this run, let it go. Still looking for these continued lows at 24,702. Probably looking for even lower prices by the end of day. We need to see some divergence get put here on the lower time frame to send us lower, I think. So we may see price need to come up and take out this high and then go. How long have I been trading futures? So I actually started out in Forex 8 years ago. I was one of them Forex trader people. You know, one of those guys. And then I moved over to futures about 4 years ago. But I've actually been trading 8 years now. Technically, by the end of this year, it'll be 9 years. So this is my 8th year. I think I started trading in October 8 years ago. It's been a wild ride. From Monday to Friday, what is usually your best day to trade? So it's actually all dependent on the economic calendar. So the economic calendar very much gives you a plan for the week and it'll tell you the best trades today. So say, for example, if Monday normally is going to be a worst day to trade, Friday Friday and Monday are the worst days. Probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday and Thursday are my favorite days, followed by Wednesday. But midweek, those are my best trading days. We're going to reject out this order block. Start my break even. Didn't quite tap it. Yeah, we did. Okay. So if this does end up holding here and we do end up continuing higher, it's probably going to be that we continue bullish for the rest of the day. I think everyone has worse win rate on Monday. Lowest volume, choppiest, most sideways kind of days. I'm just going to move my stop back above this high because I'm concerned it will take it. We'll see. It is what it is. Worst case, we'll get a break even. Why not continue in Forex? I'm looking to change the futures as well. Looks very similar with EU, GU. Forex is less of a day trading asset, as I kind of said earlier in the stream. Works a lot better for swing trading, and I like to day trade. Do you use TradeView with TradeView? If yes, how do you manage the copy account? So I use a trade copier, and I just use TradeView built in. All right, so we've got a break even on there. Unfortunately, we did just have a shit entry. So it is what it is. Let's see if we can get another opportunity though by end of day. So it looks like, just clearing off the chart here, that this low down here might end up being protected. We'll see if we can get another possible short from this 1 minute and this 5 minute area here. But otherwise, we're probably going to be done in terms of shorts, and we'll look for longs instead. I think I may have just had my stops too tight, but I'm not going to re-enter without any more confirmation. In terms of confirmation, I would probably need to see a candle closure below here to validate me to re-enter into another sell. Let's see. How many traders do we have in TradeZella? Probably. I mean, technically the whole team trades, right? We're a very big, we believe that everyone working on the product should understand the product and should understand trading. So the whole entire TradeZella team actually trades. But in terms of like serious traders, we have on the team 5. Let's call it 5. Yeah. That's unfortunate. I got ticked out there and now it's going my way. God damn. Right, so I will look at a re-entry here. Oh, I got such a bad feel. Such a bad feel. So still looking for this continuation push down to these lows down here. Yep, I like how that looks on both ES and NQ, so happy with this. Once again, very light trading today in terms of size, so not too big a deal, but happy. Yeah, I like this trade in general. Not the biggest fan of my entry and my fill, but the trade itself I like. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see. This could just go now. Probably going to pull back up to here. 24,808. Come on, go for my wick. Still passive buy here under the aggressive, saying that it got bought up under 50%. Interesting. That passive buyer is going to become my liquidity to take me to my target. So cliche. So cliche. I like this. We had divergence get put in. Just using footprint C. Yeah, I know, man. I was just taking the mick out of like all the ICT traders and all the online sayings. Right, let's see if we can get up to that 1,000 like goal today. If we do get up to 1,000 likes, we will do another giveaway today. We will give away another year of TradeZella just for you legends. Send the poll though. 50% of you today said that you were bullish, which is interesting to see. Let's see if you end up being right. You used to trade ICT, provides zero context. Interesting. How can you make the switch over to order flow? How was the switch? All right, I'm going to move my stops up just above this high right here. And look to see if we can get this run through here. If we don't see a quick move down here, probably it's going to end up being another push up, unfortunately. I'd much rather us just go hit my target though. Make my life so much easier. Yeah, it's good. All right. Another break even there, unfortunately. So we've taken 2 break evens, 1 loss so far today. Still possible that we could reverse short from here. Not looking the likeliest though. We're still holding this. Actually, I do still think we're bearish here, to be honest. I think we end up holding this 1 minute here. Let's see. I'm willing to take one last stab at these shorts. One last one. Not yet though. I need a little bit more confirmation. I'll give it a minute or so to chop around. So if I see a closure below here, I'll take this for one more stab. Order shows where treasure actually entered in it, which gives higher quality confirmation. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. All right, it's looking like we might be flipping bullish here. We're starting to respect bullish order flow to an sense. Let's see if ES also wants to respect the bullishness. So ES did she tell? So ES didn't tell us she wanted to go bullish. Not yet, anyway. I think at minimum NQ will take this high, so you could probably get a pretty free punt here. See, I still believe we sell down to the low for now. Having a trickier day than usual right now, though. Is there a way to turn off music on our end? There isn't, but I can turn it down. Guys, who wants music? Who doesn't want music? Let's see what the consensus is. And if enough of you say no, I'll just turn it off. Want music, don't care. Pro music, yes music. Something without singing, just good music. The problem is, we have to use copyright-free music. If we do. Prefer without lyrics. Okay. This one's I'll go to this one. Right, this one's very subtle. It's just in the background. You can barely even hear it. Barely even hear it, guys. We'll go slow. I even bought YouTube Premium last night for you guys. Bought YouTube Premium last night for you guys for the music, so we no longer got any ads, and now you're all telling me that we hate music. It's fine. Don't worry. I'm not offended. All right, this is last chance if we were going to want to sell down. To be honest, it's really not looking like we're gonna. It's really looking like we're going to continue bullish for the rest of the day. I did 10 a.m. close. 10 a.m. close pretty bullish. We do have this 4-hour gap down here though, which is interesting. I'd much rather see that get tapped into before coming bullish. Worth every play. Low key YouTube music for what it is quite expensive. It's like £20. I think I'm just going to wait. Not too much going on. Let's check out gold. Gold traded up to that level. So now we're looking to see some reaction to basically chop around on gold, to be honest. Not too much to trade on there either. If we consolidate here for another minute, we can get through here. Potentially another trade, but I very much am leaning towards the longs now, just in terms of how we look. But I guess our line in the sand, so to speak, for shorts is going to be here. If we go any higher than here, then I'm long, but I'm still short until that point. Okay, so kind of rejecting here our last kind of opportunity for shorts. This will be the last stab I take. This is NQ. Let's go to MNQ. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't. Oh, I'm gonna miss my entry again, aren't I? Yeah, miss my entry. All good, all good. All right, I'm giving this one more stab. I got like the worst possible entry ever though. Hit our line in the sand, so to speak, so should go from here. Such a bad entry though. It's crazy the difference between my P&Ls between this main account and the other ones, due to like the difference in the executions of the trade copier. It's actually insane. That is the thing about a trade copier. They can screw you like that. What is line in the sand? It's kind of like last line of defense for the day in terms of that position. So if we break above that area, then more than likely it's going to be long for the rest of the day. So this is like last opportunity to short, basically. I think this is just going to end up being a pretty rough trading day for me, to be honest. I think I'm just offside in the market today, and that is what it is. It's going to be one of them. It'll be one to review. Pretty sloppy from my end, to be honest, today. Bad day, as I say, but I've managed to keep risk relatively low for the whole day, so we'll see. Either I look like a hero and this melts off a cliff now, or I've had a terrible trading day. Dun, 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 dun. Looking more likely like da, 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 da. Okay. I meant to move my stop at 1 point higher, but yeah, it's looking like very much so a terrible trading day today. As I said, I wanted to move my stop at 1 point higher to cover this, so I may have just been stopped out by a point and then it will go, but it's what it is. That is really annoying. See, now this looks like, if I enter now, it looks like I'm revenge trading, but I'm not. See, I should have just done it. I should have just done it. I didn't want to get called a revenge trader by you guys. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see if we can get through this area here and see if we get longs for the rest of the day. This will be last opportunity for me, I think, for the day. Potentially. Daily gap is all the way up here, so it's quite a bit away. Gonna play Wukong. I like that. I like that for you. Like, there's still the potential that this short goes. Still not out through that area. Still in my line in the sand. We haven't closed yet. The 5 minute failed to close for it. 15 minutes about to close bullish though. Let's see if this 5 minute can get through here. Might be a 5 minute long opportunity. Got about 15 seconds on the closure. In terms of like the lower time frame price action, I still prefer shorts, but the higher time frame price action is definitely indicating that we want to go long. All right, we failed to close through again. However, the 15 did close extortionately bullish. Still respecting that area. Still yet to break out either way. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. For those that are new here today, though, and you are joining me, I promise you, I'm not normally this bad. This is our live trading record for January and February here. I'm just having a bit of a bad day here, a bit of a rough day. Putting my stops too tight, maybe. A little bit crappy on the execution side. My entries are a little bit slipping today. Not really giving too much for me. As I say, I still think we go bearish. Still think we go bearish. Gonna give it another. Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's not clearly going one way or the other at the moment. I think this runs down now. Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. But I'm not trying to catch like a crazy move. I'm just trying to catch like 30, 40 points. Well, maybe a little bit more. All right. Let's see. We've got a minute and 30 to see if we can get through this 5 minute here. We can get from this 5 minute, likely going to trade up to that high. Should you consider 3 minute also? Is there a 3 minute? Nah, the 5 minute will carry the most weight here. I think it would just go up now, to be honest. The looks of this action. If the 5 minute can get through in the next 30 seconds, we'll also open up a 1 minute here, and I'll look to take a trade from that up to these highs. So something like this. All right, so the 5 minute got through. I want to see a little pullback. Because okay, let's see here. All right, taking a stab there. Looking to see us trade up to this high. This will be my last trade of the day. And I'll leave some runners. So I'll change this to 2. Oh, I'm getting an error. All good. So final targets are going to be all the way up here. Anywhere I can refine my stops to. Interesting to know, for sure. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to get fucked on this as well, aren't I? I don't know what ES is doing there. ES is putting a little divergence. It's rejecting from the top. Should we just go degen and full port? Should we just fucking clean up here? Biggest trading day ever. How do you decide to walk away on a bad day after taking so many good days prior? I just know my limits. I know how I feel. Like right now, I don't feel too bad, and I've kept risk on every trade today relatively low. So I'm not even too bothered even today currently about the losses because the risk has been so low that it doesn't affect me too much. But yeah, this will probably be it because I've had to realize like I was offside 2 times, and then if I try like now I've flipped my bias, right? So if I'm offside again here, then it's probably going to be it, you know. But let's see. By the way, this isn't like my TP, so to speak. This is where I'll leave the runners to. I'll close off the majority here at this high. But I think this also is a great display of risk management, right? Because although we've had all these winning days in a row and we had all this great month, like if you fail to manage risk, it doesn't matter who you are, how good you are, how much you win. If you fail to manage risk on a day like this, where you have a bad trading day, it's all gone. All of this last month and 1 week's work is all gone. So at the end of the day, having enough capital to come again and play on Monday is going to be the most important thing. And if I were to oversize and size up and, you know, like let's say I were to flip my bias here and then I were to size up drastically and then, you know, end up getting stopped out again, like all of a sudden I don't get to come and play the game again on Monday. And that would be worse than anything. Imagine winning 30 days in a row and you lose it all on one, which is what the majority of people do, which is the reason they stay unprofitable. But yeah, looking very slow here. That's what I'm trying to determine. My January is tremendous. It's all very much just comes down to you knowing yourself and what your capabilities are in terms of when walking away. Some people just don't have that facility, that button in them that allows them to stop. That button that says, yeah, okay, no more here. Let's call it a day. Whereas other people are very, you know, they're a bit detached from it. But if you are getting emotional about your losses, then maybe it's a sign that you do need to size down in general. Any advice on how to, with Apex trading drawdown? Take lower R, multiple trades, trade a stop loss really tight. Just like constantly be trailing your stop loss super, super tight. And often you'll end up getting stopped out of moves because you'll be trailing too tight, but it's just what you have to do. Right, ES is coming for this same high here, 24,984. So ES is coming for that now. So if it does, I'll probably look to minimize risk on this just because that won't fill me with confidence. If NQ doesn't start to just pop up here, I won't like this. Does anyone have any lucid trading accounts? I've tried them. They're okay. They have a lot of, they have like payout caps and stuff though. Putting an SMT, putting some divergence there. So it's not looking too good for us. We'll leave it. We'll let it be. Need to see this push sustain here. There we go. Right, I'm going to go break even here because I don't like that ES already taking that high and we have that divergence. So we're either going to take the break even, I'm going to be done for the day, or we're going to run up and I'm going to get all my profit. Wait, what the hell just happened there? I don't like that. I'm going to put that because I don't like how it just disappeared. How do you decide what percentage of account you're willing to risk? So it depends if you're on a personal account or a prop account. If you're on like a prop account, you probably want to, whatever your drawdown is, divide it by 10. And that's how much you should really be risking. So if you've got $2,000 buffer, you should be risking 200 a trade. Personal account, 0.5%, 0.25% is good risk for a personal account. I mean, think about it like this. If you can clear 20R in a month on a personal account, on 0.5 risk, that would be 10% a month, which, traditional investing standards, that's incredible, right? So if you don't have a personal account though, where that for you is not enough money, then potentially, you need to go get money from elsewhere to fund that personal account. Maybe you need to look into prop firms or something like that. Depends on what your goals are really, especially with a personal account, whether you're trying to grow it fast or not. But the faster you try to grow it, the more likely it is you'll lose it. You should risk. Here's a better way to decide, because the risk you take on a trade should always be relative to what you can handle mentally. What we can handle in terms of risk per trade is a muscle, and we need to build that muscle, right? So if you put on a trade on your account and it's stressing you out and you can't really think correctly, and you're like a bit antsy, maybe you're biting your nails, that type of thing, then maybe you need to size down. Right? And just keep your risk at the point where it no longer affects your trading, where you're not emotional about that risk. And then you will make the best trading decisions you possibly can. And you'll actually notice that you will make more money doing that than if you just consistently sized up and tried to be emotional about things. Has my camera just died, guys? I think that's a sign. All right, my camera just has died, guys, unfortunately. But it's all good. We will be wrapping up the stream here very shortly. as I say, this is gonna be my last trade of the day. I'm gonna leave this one to run, and it'll either play out or it won't. But I'm gonna get off here and go to the gym very shortly. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's stream. We will be back on Tuesday. We do Mondays in our Discord. So yeah, I very much appreciate you all coming here today. We're going to wrap it up. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you back here again on Tuesday. As I say, I'm not going to do anything else here today. I'm just going to leave this position to run and see if you're going to take me out for basically break even, or it's going to hit my teeth, and I'm going to end up in profit for the day. So we will see. You will all see on Tuesday morning or Monday morning. I will update you on the status of what happens with my account here, and see if the day win streak ends up continuing. Because if this does hit, it will take me back into profit for the day. But yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you all in a bit.